Now, panel, we're going to start you out in this first spot with blindfolds. This will be the first and last time tonight. So if all of you put your blindfolds on, I want to see Faye get hers on. Oh, that's right. It doesn't have to go over, does it? All right. Everybody get their blindfolds on. And now, will our first contestant come in, please? Now, panel, I'm not going to tell you this gentleman's name. We will call him Mr. X, because if you knew his name, probably you would know his secret. So, Mr. X, if you whisper your secret to me, the folks at home are anxious to find out. All right, panel, to help... to help classify Mr. X's secret, it concerns something that happened to him. And, Jane, you've been with us you've been away for so long. Let's start with you.
Well, Gary, yes. I haven't been away so long that I don't remember the laughter on a secret. This sounds very sneaky. Is it a sneaky secret?
Sort of.
Would we know Mr. X by sight as well as his name?
No.
We'd have to say yes. We'd have to say yes and no.
Is it something he did?
No.
It's something that happened to him, was that right?
Something that happened to him.
Right.
Would I be interested in when this happened to him?
Yes.
Would it have been in the last week?
No.
Would it have been this year?
No.
$20 down and $60 to go, and we go to Henry Morgan, please.
Well, evidently this is something that happened to you some time ago.
Yes.
Or was it something somebody did to you?
Yes.
Would we be interested in knowing the name of the person who did it to you?
Yes.
Was it somebody in show business?
Yes.
Was it somebody in the movies?
Has been, but movies are not the primary activity of this person in show business.
Has been.
Not a has been. Has been in the motion picture.
Was somebody in the theater?
Yes.
Somebody also who appears occasionally in the theater, but again, it is not his or her main means of livelihood. $40 down and $40 to go. We go to Faye.
Well, Mr. X, this person that has done whatever has happened to you, are they here tonight?
Yes.
Is it a member... Are they on the stage?
Yes.
Is it a member of our panel?
Yes.
Is it male or female?
Well, split that question down the middle.
Well, that's jolly deep of you.
Well, let's first find out...
Is it female?
No.
Would it be Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Oh, well, your name is
all right.
Legion.
Now, everybody but Mr. Morgan may remove his or her blindfolds, because only Mr. Morgan might know here, so...
Oh, we can take them off?
You can take yours off. $60 down and $20 to go, and we go to Bill Cullen, please.
Oh, Gary, you were talking about in the movies or on Broadway, and you said has been. And it always hurts me because I'm the only one here who has never been in the movies or on Broadway. I'm an ain't been yet.
That might be a good thing to be.
And it's not likely. This thing that happened to you, sir, did Henry Morgan do something to you physically?
Well, it was physical in nature, but not in the respect that he did something physical to this gentleman.
Did this thing that happened to you, sir, change your outlook on life? Were you unhappier after it was done?
Yes.
Did you lose money on because of the thing that this...
Definitely.
Henry's a perpetrator.
All right, Henry, keep your blindfold on. We have lost $80, and now let's go about this and see what we can find out. Panel, Henry Morgan has owed this man $2 for 26 years. Now, sir, has Mr. Morgan ever made any effort to pay you back the $2 in the past 26 years?
None whatsoever.
But you do believe that Mr. Morgan is basically an honest man?
Yes.
Now, Henry, have you been feeling guilty for the last 26 years about owing someone $2?
No.
Well, I suppose the charitable way to look at it is it was such a long time ago and such a small amount of money that Henry just naturally forgot about it. So that must be the explanation, don't you think? Henry just forgot about it?
Yes, that must be.
I wish, sir, that I could agree with you. Forgive me for half a moment. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, I shall now prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that Henry Morgan never forgot this $2 debt. And that there has been a feeling of guilt for the last 26 years in the dark recesses of his subconscious mind. Now, Mr. Morgan, you claim that you have felt no guilt, nor do you have any conscious recollection of owing this poor man $2.
That's true.
What about the subconscious mind, though? May I ask you now, if a person secretly felt guilty about something he had done to another person, is it not possible that the subconscious mind could recall the name of that other person after 20 or 30 years?
It's possible.
It is possible. Very well, then is it possible that that name, hidden for so many years in the subconscious mind, might unexpectedly reappear? Let's say by a slip of the tongue, for example.
It's possible.
Or that name might reappear to you in a dream.
Possibly.
Or, for that matter, in a doodle.
Oh, don't...
It
Yeah,
is possible, is it not, Mr. Morgan?
it's possible.
Then may I have Exhibit A, please? May I have Exhibit A? Henry Morgan, 2 weeks ago on this program, on the night of December 4th, we exhibited some doodles made by the panelists. Do you recall this?
Yes.
Now, you may remove your blindfold and look at Exhibit A. Now, we showed this doodle that night.
Oh,
Will
yes.
you testify to the fact that it is yours?
Yes.
Good. Now, examine it closely. Observe that it has several horizontal lines, several vertical lines, and as we look at it closer, we see that there is some writing there in the center. There is a word, a name. Now, Miss Emerson, as an impartial witness, would you read that name?
I see it, sir, as Norman.
Norman. Henry, on the night of December 4th, I asked you who was this mysterious Norman. And now I ask you, didn't you deny before the entire American public that you never knew anyone by that name? Did you not so testify, sir?
Well, yes.
Now then, you have said yes. Now we come to Exhibit B. I ask you to listen closely, because Exhibit B is an actual recording of this program made on the night of December 4th when I asked about this name. Now listen closely as our engineer plays for you Exhibit B. But right in the middle of it is the word Norman. Now, there was nobody on the show named Norman. We have no one on our staff named Norman. Who is Norman on our time?
Gary, there are things that go on in my head that I don't understand yet. This is absolutely true. I don't know a Norman. I don't.
But you do, Henry. You do. And now we must face the final moment of truth. All that remains is to search deep, deep into your past and to find the man whose name has made you feel so ashamed and so guilty that for more than a quarter of a century you have had a mental block about this name. Now, I shall ask one more question and then I shall rest my case.
Wiretapping's illegal.
Wiretapping was not necessary. I ask this one final question. Mr. X, what is your first name?
My name is Norman.
Well, listen.
This, Henry, is Norman Quint.
Didn't
He was your
we
bunkmate.
went to camp together.
That's right.
What happened to your hair?
What happened to your memory, Mr. Morgan?
Aren't you from Massachusetts?
That's right.
I never had $2 when I was in camp.
No, but he did.
You're from Lawrence.
That's right.
He was your bunkmate in camp for 5 years from 1927 to 1931. And, Henry, I'm sorry I was a little brutal, but it is never easy, friends, to lift the seventh nail. Now, at last, we know exactly what has been bothering Mr. Morgan all these years. And for the first time in 25 years, Henry, you are free. Free. You are free. It is all over except about the $2. Does the jury agree that Mr. Morgan should pay the $2?
Yeah.
It goes deeper and it goes farther than this, Mr. Morgan. I am sorry to hold you up so, but we must go on. Mr. Quint, may I ask you this personal question? Are you a wealthy man today?
No.
Might it be possible that you might have been a wealthy man?
If Henry had paid me the $2 in 1932, I'd be a wealthy man today.
Now, Now, Henry, you may think that's an absurd statement, but we called up the largest firm of stockbrokers in the world, Merrill, Lynch, Pierce, Fenner, and Bean, and we have here actual statistics, the actual figures showing what might have been. Excuse me while I get Exhibit C. Not much help around here, you know. Now, then, follow these figures, if you will. In 1932, let's make out that Henry, with an ounce of honor, paid Norman the $2. In 1932, Norman bought Siegel Incorporated, 3 shares at 62.5 cents a share. Being an enterprising young fellow, in 1936, he sells his Spiegel Incorporated. With the proceeds therefrom, in 1937, he buys Bendix Aviation, 38 shares of Siegel. In 1942, he sells his Bendix Aviation. With the money derived therefrom, he buys City Service at 715 shares of same. And in 1951, he sold his City Service. He would have, had he had the money. He would have taken the proceeds and bought American Cab at 3,745 shares. And in 1953, Norman sells his American Cab. And you said it, I didn't. With the proceeds therefrom, he buys United States Steel, 4,539 shares. And in 1955, he sells his U.S. Steel. With the proceeds, he buys Polaroid Corporation, 125,074 shares. So, Henry, it is no longer a matter of $2. Now, you owe this gentleman $5,847,209.50.
Gary, not necessarily so, because according to you, I had the $2, and look what happened to me.
Ah, that's you. May I ask you, Norman, had you had the $2, would you have invested it as we have demonstrated?
Exactly that way.
So, Henry?
All I can do is take care of you for the rest of my life.
I have here a check. This is the largest check ever shown on television. Made out to your name, in your name, to Mr. Norman Quint, to the sum of $5,847,209.50.
No, Gary.
Will you sign it?
No, let's do this correctly. I goofed on the first $2. Norman, try another $2.
Would you settle for the $2, Norman?
I think I'll have to.
Take my word, it will about settle. Norman. Thanks very much. And I hope in the future you don't fall in the hands of Sharpies again.